Panthers are going to bring it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who I think is going to win this game. I don't know. Should we do a throwdown and then I'll decide?
Let's
do it. Third hour, Throwdown Thursday. We have a doozy of a Thursday night game, hours away right here on the network. So let's take a look at some of the best players from tonight's Panthers-Steelers action. And first up, we have both teams with great quarterbacks leading their offenses. But for this question, you can only choose one. Guys, put yourself on a game-winning drive in the red zone. Okay. Which quarterback do you want, Ben Roethlisberger or Cam?
You know, I always side with athleticism. It's my thing at quarterback. As a wide receiver, I love it when you could run one route and then the quarterback drops back. He steps outside the pocket and he has an option to run for 15, 20 yards or use that arm and hit you on a secondary or even third route. So if I'm describing that, you would think, okay, it's Cam Newton. But history tells me that Big Ben has done this more times. And Big Ben can stick in that pocket, even if he's not a threat to run. He's a threat to extend the play. He might not run for the first down, but he can extend the play a few more seconds. So from a football perspective, and a guy that I've seen do it, even when I played, I'm going with Big Ben.
It's funny because Nate's saying he's seen Ben do it, and not only has he seen him do it, he's seen him do it 30 times. That is one shy of John Elway for fifth most of all time when it comes to fourth quarter comebacks. So he's done it in big moments. He's done it in irrelevant regular season games. He does it all the time. I'm going with Big Ben based on the history that Burleson was referencing. Cam's great. Cam did it at Auburn. He's done it at the Panthers, but Big Ben is one of the greatest all time in the fourth quarter. I'm going with Big Ben.
I was set to say Ben too, and I'm going to change because this is right now. This is this season. This is not Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone. This is not guys from 10 years ago. This is now, this weekend. And if you're thinking about a game-winning drive, let's say it comes down inside the 10-yard line. Give me Cam right now. Roll Cam out of the pocket. I'll take that over any AB, any Roethlisberger. He gets to the 7-yard line. He could jump in. I love Ben, too. I was going to say Ben. I saw you guys talking about it. Hold on a second. Cam brings a lot of things to the table that Ben does not. No one ever has. I'm going to go with number 1 on the Carolina Panthers.
It's true, but it's also about what they've seen Ben do and what we've seen Cam not do, like a Super Bowl. Could have just dive on the ball a little bit. Didn't happen, so I'd have to go with Big Ben on this one. But if we are living in the present, Cam's on fire.
Cam, most rushing touchdowns by QB. Nobody's even close.
Hashtag GMFB if you guys want to play along. Next, gentlemen, let's talk a battle of running backs. Which RB would you rather start your franchise with? James Conner or Christian McCaffrey, Shrakes?
I'm going with the guy who was a number 8 overall pick in Christian McCaffrey because I feel like he does it all. And I know Connor's had some great receptions and made an impact in the blocking game. But over the course of his entire college career, I feel like Christian McCaffrey at Stanford was special, as well as James Conner. And if I'm building a team, I see McCaffrey as maybe my best receiver on the team and my best running back. Love what James Conner's doing, but when you're the number 8 overall pick, that tells you something, especially in guys that played college football at the same time.
It's an awesome question. Do you know that James Conner has more receiving yards than McCaffrey?
Is that right?
379 to 378.
I got egg on my face.
Conner can catch, man, and they're so close. They're so young. They can do anything. I'll take this outside the box. If I'm starting a franchise right now, I like the Pittsburgh hometown thing. I like what he overcame off the field. And more than anything, he was a later draft pick, so he's going to be a lot cheaper than McCaffrey. So I'll go with James Conner.
Yeah, I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey, and he's so explosive, and he's such a tweener that it almost puts you in a pickle. James Conner is an old school downhill runner, even though he still is a great pass catcher. I feel like you can still balance him out with another style running back. I'm going with James Conner as well in this one. And I was starting off thinking I'm going to go with C-Mac because I'm such a big fan of Christian McCaffrey. But I feel like if you have a James Conner, you could balance him out with a bigger back or even a scat back, which gives you that perfect yin and yang. There's just something about that grittiness. And to be honest, when these guys first got their opportunity, and this is James Conner's real first opportunity without Le'Veon Bell, the start of his career was better than Chris McCaffrey's, on the ground and in there.
And he's averaging 5 catches a game, which you guys just alluded to. That's sort of, I mean, I'm thinking about this segment if Lev's watching.
Yeah.
He's just going to start tweeting sideways. The 3 of you picked him over McCaffrey to start your franchise with.
I think he's going to send out an invisible tweet, and we have to interpret that.
I'm into that,
really?
sure, yeah.
Can you do that?
Use your imagination.
I had no idea you could do upside-down tweets. I know Cam speaks in his own language on Instagram, but other than that, I thought it was nothing. Last but not least, guys, 2 masters of make-believe on Throwdown Thursday. I give you the late Fred Rogers, who is from Pittsburgh originally, or Vince McMahon, who's from North Carolina.
I love Vince McMahon's product. I love his vision. I love all he created, but I was never a big fan of any time he was in the ring or on the microphone. It wasn't my thing, and the Montreal Screwjob was unforgivable. I'm going to look at Fred Rogers, who was the ultimate gangster. He
Oh,
was
talk
a
about Mr.
don.
Rogers. Give it
when
to me.
Something about him getting home and taking off that jacket and then putting on that cardigan and just, hello, neighbor. I was immediately comfortable. Let me just put it this way. Fred Rogers always came off to me very relaxed. Very relaxed. And then Mr. McFeely would come in, and his speedy delivery is just the opposite. He was delivering some speed, all right. You know what I'm saying? And I just have to say this. Have you ever seen the episode of Mr. Rogers when Mr. Rogers learns to break dance?
No.
He goes outside. Little kid Jermaine walks up with a big old cardboard and a boom box, and he's out there, and Mr. Rogers is doing this.
Stop
He's moonwalking. He's doing all of that. So I'm going to go Fred Rogers for the win. Before we even get into Daniel Tiger, which is one of the great childhood jams in the world right now, along with me, right along. It's great. Fred Rogers and Runaway.
All right, listen, I'm going to go with Fred Rogers as well.
Get in there,
There's
Nate.
just no question. Like you said, you call him a gangster. I call him the world's greatest gentleman. And there's nobody cooler than Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day.
Isn't it, though,
in
Mr.
the neighborhood. When he popped up on your screen, even I'm a grown man with kids, he makes me feel at home. I'm sitting there with my feet kicked up. I can sit and watch him all day long.
That's what I'm saying.
Not to get too serious, but in light of what happens in this country, in light of what happened last night in this country, we need more people to wake up and think like Mr. Rogers. It was all about love and what you could bring to the table,
Well said.
and not hate that you could bring to the table.
You guys say it all. And Mr. Rogers and Me is a documentary that's running on a lot of these flights right now.
Really?
2014 documentary. It's on all these flights. I would tell everyone, go invest the time, 2 hours. It's a documentary about his life. This guy went to the courts and tried to make a case for public television and why it's important to have it. Fred Rogers didn't think we were going to go sentimental here.
No.
Sorry, Vince McMahon, but I love Mr. Rogers. Love what he stands for. Nate, well said, man.
Cool character he is.
You know who's playing him in the movie? Hanks. Hanks doesn't show up for anybody. Hanks is playing Mr. Rogers.
I didn't even know this.
Coming out.
Mr.
There's a
Rogers
shot. If you look at it right now and say Tom Hanks,
I'm looking,
Mr. Rogers.
oh, I did Mr.
full
Rogers
costume.
breakdancing.
Oh, with Jermaine. It's
okay.
incredible. Also, let's not forget Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Which
Oh,
is
yes.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Who is it? Who is it? It's the best. That's a different segment.
Coming up next on Good Morning Football, that's